Everyone who knows me with two characters. One is that I'm a stubborn person. I don't follow things or like things or do things because everyone other else is doing it or liking it or following it. I just have to find my own reason for that. The second is that I I'm the second is that I have an analytic mind, meaning that I analyze everything. I guess it's because of my psychological background. I like to analyze every behavior, every action, every thought, and I believe that everything have a reason. So I wanna walk you through my life. Most of the important things that have happened through my life. First was entering the university. I didn't want to enter the university because I didn't know what to study, and it was unreasonable for me to just enter the university because everyone else is doing it. So my mother was really frustrated. Oh, are you serious? You're my last child and you don't want to go to university? If you don't go, if you don't enter, you don't get to have a job, you don't get to get married, and you don't have any skills. How is it possible? So she convinced me to participate in different counseling sessions for 2 or 3 months. Then I get to decide to study sociology, and I entered university. Second is my marriage. I didn't want to get married as others did, to have a luxury wedding, a luxury dress, to have that attention, and to follow some traditions that I didn't like. So I told everyone that me and Hamid have decided to get married in a city hall and just make it legal. Of course, everyone was frustrated, both of our families, but we did it. And third one was immigration. So on that time, I had to study psychology and I had the analytic mind, and that means that it took me nearly 5 years to decide that I want to immigrate. And when I decided to do that, I was really nervous because I was thinking that what will happen to my parents? They're getting older, who's taking care of them, and is it a reasonable decision or not? And I found a viewpoint that could help me to go through that way, and that was think it as an experience. When you think it as an experience, whether it's good or bad, it means you're gaining something. And I have to mention that I entered Canada. I moved to Canada 7 months after Hamid, so this separation and anxiety was so hard. So I entered here nearly to Christmas. Everything was shiny, was fancy, everything was great. But I have heard from Canada that it has cold winters, especially Edmonton. And I could see minus 30, minus 40. But I told myself, Zara, keep calm. It's an experience and it's gonna be okay. So the first month was celebrations of Christmas and everything like that. But the second month, lots of cold snaps, minus 30, minus 40. It was not an experience anymore. I couldn't feel anything. I couldn't go out or like that. So when my parents called, I wanted to seem confident. I told them, it's okay, it's an experience. Oh, I haven't seen a winter like that, coming from a warm country like Iran. But the time passed and I had to find a job. Since I was a psychologist back home, if I wanted to be a psychologist here, I had to pass the registration process. It took a lot of time. So meanwhile, I wanted to find a job. Back home, I've heard that the economic situation of Edmonton in Canada is getting worse. So that means that it takes maybe nearly a year to find a job, if you're lucky to find a job. But that time I told myself, Zara, be cool. It's still an experience and you're gonna gain something. 2, 3, 4 months has passed. I couldn't find a job and I was getting insane. I didn't want to have an experience. I was missing my family and the cold weather was getting annoying and I wanted to go back home. In this state of my life, I decided to use one of those two characters to move on. Can you say which of them I used? The analytic mind or the stubbornness?
Stubbornness.
The analytic mind. I started thinking that, okay, what has happened? I want it to be an experience, but it was really an experience. I was just struggling with everything. I was struggling with the weather, struggling with missing my parents, with the sadness, struggling with the economy, and all the things that wasn't in my hand. So I told myself, let it be, just flow with the life. So I didn't struggle with my sadness. I let it be as it is. I didn't struggle with the economy. I let it be, and also the weather. And I have to say that after these viewpoints, I get to gain three valuable experience. One is that to enjoy every little tiny thing in life. The weather, the spring, the clouds, everything. The second is that I didn't struggle with any thoughts. I let them be, let them flow, and that made me really calmer and easier through life. And the third one, which was the most valuable one, was that I get to see the life as a path and not an organized plan. So I flow through it. And I think if I didn't have this experience as immigration, I didn't have these valuable experiences. Thank you.